The vast emptiness of space had always made humanity feel small, insignificant even, but that was before we discovered just how wrong the Galactic Empire had been about us. They called us primitives, dubbed our solar system a backwater collection of rocks, and considered Earth nothing more than a footnote in their grand cosmic registry. If only they'd listened when we tried to warn them. I remember the day their first diplomatic vessel entered our orbit. I was stationed on the Lunar Defense Platform, monitoring deep space communications when their transmission cut through our channels like a knife through butter. Their message was clear. Earth would be annexed into their empire, resistance was futile, and we should be grateful for the opportunity to serve a superior civilization. What made me chuckle was their assumption that our radio signals and early space exploration attempts were the extent of our capabilities. You see, humanity had learned long ago to keep our true strengths hidden. While we broadcast old television shows and basic satellite communications, our quantum networks hummed silently beneath the surface. While they observed our modest space station, our stealth fleet waited in the shadows of Jupiter's moons. The Empire's ambassador, a tall blue-skinned being with 4 arms, landed in Geneva with all the pomp and ceremony you'd expect from someone who thought they were meeting savages. I was there, part of the security detail, watching as he handed our United Earth Council what he called a generous offer of surrender. The council chamber fell silent as our president stood up, a slight smile playing on her lips. "We've studied your empire for decades," she said, her voice steady and clear. "We've intercepted your transmissions, analyzed your technology, and mapped your weaknesses. We tried to warn you through diplomatic channels to leave us be. Now, I'm afraid you forced our hand." The ambassador laughed, a sound like grinding metal that still haunts my dreams. That laugh was cut short when our quantum fields activated, disabling every piece of their superior technology within Earth's orbit. Their mighty ships, designed to intimidate us, hung powerless in space. The look on the ambassador's face when his emergency beacon failed, well, let's just say it was priceless. But this isn't a story about how humanity outsmarted one arrogant diplomat. This is about what happened next, when the full might of the Galactic Empire turned their eyes toward our little primitive world. They thought they were punishing upstart savages. Instead, they learned why humans had developed a reputation for turning disadvantages into strengths, why Earth's species were known for evolving to overcome any challenge. The first wave of their assault fleet appeared at the edge of our solar system exactly 1 month later. Thousands of ships, each capable of destroying a small moon, arranged in their traditional battle formation. They expected us to cower. They expected us to beg. They expected submission. What they didn't expect was for Jupiter's shadows to come alive with our ships. They didn't expect our quantum phase torpedoes to pass straight through their shields. They didn't expect us to understand their technology better than they did. Most of all, they didn't expect us to be ready. As I stand here now, watching the aftermath of that first battle from my observation post, I can't help but feel a mix of pride and sadness. Pride in humanity's achievement and our ability to defend ourselves against those who would subjugate us. Sadness because we truly did try to warn them. We tried to prevent this conflict. But sometimes, I suppose, the only way to earn respect is to show why you deserve it. And this was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire was about to learn why. Throughout Earth's history, the most dangerous phrase has always been, "Humans can't do that." After that first battle, the Empire withdrew to the Kuiper Belt, regrouping and reassessing their strategy. Their propaganda channels buzzed with excuses. They claimed we'd used forbidden technology, that we'd somehow stolen their military secrets, that we'd broken some cosmic law of warfare. The truth was simpler. We'd outthought them. While they'd spent centuries relying on brute force, humanity had been perfecting the art of asymmetric warfare. From my new position aboard the UES Vigilant, one of our most advanced stealth cruisers, I watched as our intelligence officers decoded their transmissions. The Empire was calling for reinforcements, but more importantly, they were asking questions. How had we developed quantum phase technology? Why hadn't their sensors detected our fleet? And perhaps most importantly, what else were we hiding? The answer to that last question would have terrified them. While the Empire had focused on building bigger ships and more powerful weapons, We'd taken a different approach. Our vessels were smaller, faster, and nearly impossible to detect. We developed swarm tactics that could overwhelm their targeting systems, and our quantum computers could predict and counter their strategies before they even executed them. But our greatest advantage wasn't technological, it was psychological. The Empire had grown complacent over millennia of unopposed expansion. They'd forgotten what it meant to face an enemy who refused to play by their rules. Humanity, on the other hand, had spent its entire history adapting, evolving, and overcoming seemingly impossible odds. During the 3-day lull that followed the initial confrontation, I had a chance to speak with one of our captured Empire officers. She was young by their standards, only a few centuries old and surprisingly willing to talk. "We thought you were barbarians," she admitted, her translator struggling to convey her mix of fear and admiration. "Our historical records showed your people fighting with primitive projectile weapons just a few centuries ago. How did you advance so quickly?" I explained to her something that the Empire had failed to understand. Necessity breeds innovation. While they'd been coasting on their technological superiority, humanity had been preparing for this moment since we first looked up at the stars and realized we weren't alone. We'd known that contact with an advanced civilization was inevitable, and we'd known that not all aliens would come in peace. The officer's next question stuck with me. "Why didn't you join the Galactic community? Why hide your true capabilities?" I couldn't help but laugh. We tried to join peacefully, sending out diplomatic missions disguised as trading vessels, attempting to establish relations with various species, but every time, the Empire's bureaucracy had dismissed us as unworthy of their attention. Their arrogance had forced our hand. Now, as I stand on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching our long-range sensors track the Empire's reinforcement fleet, I can't help but wonder if things could have been different. The Empire's main force is twice the size of their first wave, but they still haven't adapted their tactics. They still don't understand what they're facing. Our president's words echo in my mind. We are not fighting for glory or conquest. We are fighting for our right to exist as equals in this galaxy. The Empire thought they were punishing an upstart species. Instead, they're about to learn why humanity has survived every catastrophe, every challenge, every threat we've ever faced. The reinforcement fleet will arrive in less than 24 hours. Our quantum sensors are picking up energy signatures we've never seen before. They're bringing weapons they believe we can't possibly defend against. But they still don't understand the most fundamental truth about humans. We're at our most dangerous when we're cornered. The Empire's reinforcement fleet arrived exactly as our quantum calculations had predicted, emerging from hyperspace in a display of power that would have intimidated any other species. Their ships stretched across the void like a metallic constellation, energy weapons primed and shields at maximum strength. But we had prepared something special for this moment. I stood at my station aboard the Vigilant, watching as the Empire's new superweapon charged up, a massive construct that seemed to bend space itself around it. Our intelligence suggested it could destabilize a planet's core, and they'd brought it to show us the price of defiance. What they didn't know was that we'd let them bring it here. "All stealth systems operational," reported our tactical officer, her voice steady despite the tension. Around us, hidden in artificial quantum pockets throughout the solar system, our entire fleet waited. Not just warships, but thousands of autonomous drones we developed by studying the remains of their first defeated armada. The Empire thought they were facing a few hundred ships. They had no idea they were surrounded. The enemy commander's transmission cut through all frequencies, impossible to ignore. "Primitive species of Earth," the translation boomed across our bridge, "you have been granted one final opportunity to surrender. Your resistance, while impressive, ends today. You will witness the power of true civilization, and you will understand your place in the galaxy." Our president's response was broadcast from a secure facility deep beneath the lunar surface. "We understand something you don't," she replied, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's determination. "We understand that true civilization isn't measured by the size of your weapons, but by the strength of your resolve." That's when we revealed our true strategy. As the Empire's superweapon reached full power, targeting Earth itself, our quantum field generators activated simultaneously across the solar system. The technology we developed wasn't just for hiding ships, it could manipulate the very fabric of space-time on a scale the Empire had never imagined. The look of confusion on the captured Empire officer's face, still aboard our ship, turned to horror as she realized what we'd done. "Impossible," she whispered, watching her fleet's energy readings fluctuate wildly. "You've created a quantum interference matrix across the entire system. But that would require understanding of physics beyond your Empire's grasp." I finished her sentence. "We told you we'd been preparing. We warned you to leave us alone." The Empire's mighty superweapon, their ultimate show of force, now sat useless in space, its energy bleeding away into our quantum matrix. But this wasn't just about neutralizing their weapon. This was about showing them why humanity had survived every extinction-level event our planet had thrown at us, why we'd risen from caves to touch the stars in a mere blink of cosmic time. As their ships began to lose power, trapped in our invisible web of quantum fields, the Empire's commander did something unexpected. Instead of ordering an immediate retreat, they began to consolidate their fleet into an attack formation. They were going to make one final, desperate push to break through our defenses. What happened next would be remembered in both human and Empire histories for millennia to come. As their vast armada surged forward, our president gave the order we'd been waiting for, the signal to unveil humanity's greatest technological achievement, something we developed not just to win a war, but to change the very nature of space combat forever. The Empire was about to learn why humans always say, if you're going to pick a fight, make sure you know what your opponent is capable of. As the Empire's fleet charged forward in their desperate gambit, our quantum matrix suddenly detected something unprecedented. Deep space sensors picked up massive energy signatures materializing behind Mars, signatures that matched neither human nor Empire technology. The void lit up with brilliant streams of light as a third faction entered our solar system's increasingly crowded battlefield. They emerged from what appeared to be tiers in space itself, sleek, crystalline vessels that seemed to flow like liquid metal. The Nomad Collective, a species the Empire had supposedly wiped out centuries ago, had chosen this moment to reveal their survival. Our intelligence had been right. They'd been watching, waiting, using their advanced cloaking technology to stay hidden even from our quantum sensors. "This changes everything." Our president's voice crackled through the command channel. The Empire forces froze in their advance, caught between two enemies they'd grievously underestimated. The Nomads had spent centuries perfecting their revenge, and humanity's resistance had given them the perfect opportunity to strike. But the situation wasn't as simple as it appeared. From my station aboard the Vigilant, I noticed something in the Nomads' formation that others missed. Their ships weren't just positioned to attack the Empire. They were arranged in a pattern that could easily turn against Earth as well. We'd unknowingly found ourselves in the middle of a centuries-old conflict, and there was no guarantee the Nomads saw us as anything more than useful pawns. The captured Empire officer grabbed my arm, her translator struggling to keep up with her urgent words. "You don't understand," she said, fear evident in her multifaceted eyes. "The Nomads don't seek victory. They seek vengeance against all settled worlds. They believe the only way to prevent warfare is to force all species back to their home planets." Our quantum matrix began detecting new energy signatures. The Nomads were powering up weapons that made the Empire's superweapon look like a child's toy. They weren't just here to fight. They were here to reset the balance of power in the galaxy, with humanity caught in the crossfire. In that moment, aboard the Vigilant, I watched as centuries of galactic politics and warfare condensed into a single, impossible choice. The Empire forces, still reeling from our quantum trap, were vulnerable. The Nomads, revealing their hand, presented an even greater threat. And humanity, having proved we could stand against the galaxy's greatest power, now faced the prospect of an enemy we hadn't prepared for. "All ships, maintain quantum field integrity," our fleet commander ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around us. "But redirect power to secondary systems." She paused, and I could hear the weight of history in her next words. "It's time to show them all why humanity never plays just one card." The Empire's commander, perhaps sensing the shifting tide, opened a direct channel to our bridge. "Your species has proven its worth, The translation came through, pride giving way to pragmatism. We proposed an immediate alliance against this common threat. Before we could respond, the nomad ships began to move, their crystalline structures catching the light of our sun as they executed a maneuver that defied conventional physics. They weren't just attacking, they were implementing a strategy that had taken centuries to perfect. As I watched the holographic display light up with new threat warnings, I realized that humanity's first galactic war had just become something far more complex. We had prepared for every scenario we could imagine, but now we faced a choice that would determine not just Earth's future, but the fate of every spacefaring civilization. The next few moments would reveal whether humanity's greatest strength, our ability to adapt and overcome, would be enough to navigate this deadly game of galactic politics and survival. The universe was about to learn that backing humans into a corner never ends well, no matter how many sides that corner has. In the chaos of that moment, with three of the galaxy's most powerful forces locked in a deadly triangle, humanity revealed our final secret. As the Nomad's crystalline ships began their attack pattern and the Empire fleet struggled against our quantum matrix, we activated what we called Project Phoenix. Thousands of quantum beacons, hidden throughout the solar system, synchronized at once. Each beacon was a marvel of human ingenuity, combining our understanding of quantum mechanics with something unique to Earth, the collective determination of a species that had evolved to never give up. The beacons created a cascading field of energy that began to reshape local space-time itself. "Your species is full of surprises," the Empire officer aboard our ship whispered, watching as the fabric of space around us began to shimmer with possibilities. Project Phoenix wasn't a weapon. It was a demonstration of humanity's true strength. We had learned to manipulate the quantum foam of space itself, creating a field where conventional weapons simply couldn't function. The Nomad's advanced ships suddenly found their energy weapons dissipating harmlessly. The Empire's remaining forces watched as their shields flickered and died. But instead of leaving them defenseless, our quantum field created something unprecedented. A space where combat itself became impossible, where the laws of physics gently but firmly refused to cooperate with any aggressive action. We didn't prepare for war. Our president's voice rang out across all frequencies and all languages. We prepared for peace. Real peace not enforced by weapons or fear, but by making conflict itself obsolete within this space. The quantum field continued to expand, encompassing more of our solar system with each passing moment. The Nomad ships, their crystalline structures reflecting the strange light of our quantum field, held position. Their next transmission shocked everyone. "You've achieved what we thought impossible. You've created true neutral ground." Their centuries of planning for revenge had run headlong into something they'd never considered, a third option. But the real surprise came from deep within the Empire fleet. Younger officers, led by our former captives' colleagues, began breaking rank. They'd seen enough of the old ways of thinking. "We've spent millennia conquering," their new spokesperson announced, "when we could have been learning. Today, that changes." The quantum field reached its full expansion, encompassing the entire solar system in its gentle, peace-enforcing embrace. Within its boundaries, thousands of ships from three of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations hung in space, weapons powered down, forced to confront something stronger than hate or fear, the possibility of change. Project Phoenix was named for Earth's own history. I explained to both our former enemies, now guests aboard the Vigilant. Like the mythical bird, humanity has risen from its own ashes countless times. But this time, we wanted everyone to rise together. But just as victory seemed assured, our quantum sensors detected something massive approaching from beyond the solar system. The readings were off the scale, suggesting power that dwarfed everything we'd seen before. As all three fleets turned to face this new arrival, we realized that our greatest test wasn't proving our strength to the galaxy, it was proving our wisdom. The quantum field flickered with new energy as the unknown object approached, and in that moment, every human, Empire citizen, and Nomad warrior faced the same thought. Had we finally learned enough to face whatever was coming next? Only time would tell, but at least now we faced it together. Earth's first galactic war hadn't ended in victory or defeat. It had ended in transformation. And as I stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, watching three former enemies begin to work together, I realized that sometimes the greatest battles aren't won with weapons, but with the courage to imagine a different way forward. The massive object approaching our solar system turned out to be something none of our civilizations had anticipated: a living spaceship, a remnant of the universe's first sentient species. As it entered the quantum field, instead of fighting against the peace-enforcing effect, it seamlessly integrated with it, enhancing the field's stability. The ancient being communicated not through words or signals, but through shared consciousness, a capability that our quantum field unexpectedly facilitated. It showed us visions of countless civilizations that had risen and fallen, each believing they were the most advanced, each ultimately failing because they couldn't overcome their drive for dominance. But we, humans, empire, and nomads together, had done something unique. We'd chosen a different path at the crucial moment. In the months that followed, our solar system became the galaxy's first neutral ground. The quantum field, enhanced by the ancient being's knowledge, became a permanent feature, a place where species could meet, trade, and resolve conflicts without fear. The Empire's younger generation, led by our former captive, began reforming their society from within. The nomads, their need for vengeance transformed into a desire for connection, shared their incredible technological insights. Humanity's role evolved too. We became known not as the species that defeated the Empire, but as the ones who showed the galaxy a new way forward. Our quantum technology, combined with our unique perspective as newcomers to galactic society, made us ideal mediators for ancient conflicts. I often find myself back on the Vigilant's observation deck, watching ships from hundreds of different species navigate through the quantum field. The ancient being, which we now simply call the Guardian, hovers at the edge of our solar system, its presence a reminder of both how far we've come and how far we still have to go. The Empire officer who had once been our captive now serves as an ambassador for her people's new government. "You know what amazes me most about humans," she said to me recently, watching Earth's sun set behind Jupiter. "Not your technology or your tactical skills, but your ability to imagine something better, even in the darkest moments." The nomads, too, found a new purpose. Their crystalline ships now serve as research vessels, exploring the boundaries of what's possible within our quantum field. They're helping us understand the very fabric of space-time itself, proving that the pursuit of knowledge is far more rewarding than the pursuit of revenge. As for me, I've been tasked with documenting our journey from a species fighting for survival to one helping shape the galaxy's future. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if we'd chosen differently, if we'd used Project Phoenix as a weapon instead of a bridge. But that's not who we are. Humans don't just survive. We adapt, we grow, we find ways to turn enemies into allies. The Guardian shares glimpses of possible futures with us, sometimes countless branching paths of what might be. In every positive outcome, cooperation and understanding play bigger roles than weapons or warfare. It turns out that the true measure of a civilization isn't its military might or technological advancement, but its capacity for growth and change. Earth's night sky looks different now, filled with the lights of visiting ships and the subtle shimmer of the quantum field. We're no longer alone in the universe, no longer fighting for our place among the stars. Instead, we're helping build something new, a galactic community where strength comes from working together, not standing apart. And that first battle, it's already becoming legend, not for its violence, but for what it taught us all. Sometimes the greatest victories come not from destroying your enemies, but from showing them a better way. That's humanity's real gift to the galaxy, not our technology or our courage, but our endless capacity to hope for and work towards something better.